Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, she hasn't seen her 5 kids.
Did you abandon your children?
I don't feel that I abandoned them, but I did leave them.
In over 2 years.
You told your daughter you're sorry she was born?
Yeah.
I couldn't stand to be around what you were doing to those kids.
Now,
Your daughter was forced to lay on the ground with her head and feet raised up.
That never happened.
she wants custody.
I'm not going to say I'm a bad mother because I'm not.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How you doing? How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, the mom on my show today is not apologizing for making the following statements. Quote, being around her would just drive me crazy. Quote, I felt like I didn't love her as much as the others. Quote, it's like when someone dies, you have to just move past it. It's been 2.5 years. I have moved on. Now, on the surface, what she says sounds innocent enough if she's talking about a stranger or a casual acquaintance. But sadly, Akilah is talking about her own 5 children. She admits abandoning 2 years ago when she walked out on their father, Jamie, just out of the blue. When I say out of the blue, I mean he did not even almost see this coming. Now Jamie says she is a bad mom, abusive and irresponsible. Take a look.
Akilah has completely abandoned her children.
I have not abandoned them because I do try hard to be in their lives long distance.
In 2.5 years, the children have only seen their mother twice. She has spoken to them about 10 times.
After being with Jamie for a number of years, I fell out of love with him. I became a mother at a young age. I missed most of my childhood. I just wanted more, and I wanted to move on. I met a guy at a friend's house, and I developed strong feelings for him.
Akilah had only known the guy for about 3 days and packed some of her stuff and jumped in the car with him and drove out of the state, leaving me and my children behind. I did not see it coming. It was like an atomic bomb went off.
I did not want to say goodbye to my children. I couldn't deal with the pain that it was going to cause them and myself. Now Jamie is holding my children hostage. Jamie is trying to keep me from my children.
It is very clear she wants nothing to do with her own kids.
If it wasn't for Jamie being angry, bitter, and upset for me leaving him, I would be in their lives.
Yes, I understand totally if you want to leave me, but how can you walk away from your children?
Well, even though Akilah admits she smacked her children in the face, spanked them with a spoon, and even called them little bitches, she insists she's not abusive.
What I found out from the children is Akilah was abusive.
Having 5 children was a lot. Disciplining could get extreme.
Akilah would call the children morons, dumb.
If my children would backtalk me, I would smack them in the mouth. I would spank them with a spoon. When I've had enough, I would explode. I feel like if you do not lay the law down with kids, they're gonna take over.
My daughter, Kelly, has told me her mother grabbed her by the hair and threw her against the house.
I would tell her that I wish she was never born. I would not consider myself abusive to Kelly. I didn't slap her like this. It would just be, that's it. My oldest daughter is a pain in the ass. Kelly was a nightmare. Being around her would just drive me crazy. I would have to scream and yell and whoop her ass just to set her straight so she would listen. Sometimes I felt like I didn't love her as much as the others.
My mom was a bad mom.
I feel like I am still a very good mother. I love my children, and I would do anything for them. I mean, if my children needed me, I would be there for them.
Akilah is more than a bad mom. She is a monster.
Okay, now this is the first time Jamie and Akilah have seen each other in 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
Akilah, let me just start with you. Did you abandon your children?
I don't feel that I abandoned them, but I did leave them. I did what I felt was right.
Well, are we playing semantics here? Did you leave your children?
I did leave them, yes.
You had 5 children.
Yes.
You and Jamie were raising
Yeah.
5 children. And you were going to a friend's house, and you met a guy there,
Yeah.
and you knew him for how long?
When I lived with him, only 2 weeks. It wasn't long.
Okay, and you two had been together how long?
13 years.
13 years, and you had 5 children. So you have this relationship for 13 years, and you have 5 children, and you know this guy for just a number of days, and you say, you know, what the hell, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go with this guy, and we're leaving.
Yeah.
Tell me how that's not abandoning your children?
Because I didn't want to take them to, I didn't even know what my relationship was going to be like. I didn't want to take them away from their life, their family, their friends, their living situation.
Was it too much drugs and alcohol? Is that why you didn't want them around?
That's a lie.
Were you high when you left?
No.
Okay, and I want to go back through some of the statements that you were talking about, because did I hear you say that you told your daughter you're sorry she was born?
When she would make me really mad because I couldn't handle her, there was times I would get really mad and I would say stuff like that.
You would tell her, I'm sorry you were ever born.
Yeah. But I feel
Did
bad
I hear
for
you
it.
say, yeah, I slapped my kids in the mouth if they backtalked me?
Yes, but that's not just me. That was him too.
And I whooped their ass, to quote you.
Yes.
And you pulled your 12-year-old daughter's hair and threw her into the side of the house.
I never threw her in the side of the house.
Before you left, did you go to him and say, okay, last offer, if you'll get in the car with me right now and leave, just you and me, I won't go off with this guy, I'll go off with you. But we're leaving the kids and we're out of here.
No, I never said that.
Yes, you did. For about 6 months prior to you leaving, you asked me about 4 times a week, is there any physical way we can just pick up and leave, start over?
Was she wanting you to leave without the kids?
She asked me to jump in the car and we could leave
Just
together.
the 2 of you? Okay, we're going to take a break here. We're going to meet another family member who says Akilah did something so reprehensible when her 12-year-old daughter accidentally missed a school bus and came home crying. We'll be right back.
When Kelly was in 1st grade, she rode the bus to school, and Akilah called my mom and told her that Kelly had gotten on the wrong bus. Akilah made Kelly lay on the ground and raise her feet up and her head up 3 inches, with her hands down to her side for 4 hours.
And later,
That is a freaking
I'm sorry,
lie.
am I talking?
I don't really care. You're not going to sit up here and lie like that.
I'm not lying.
After Akilah left, I learned that she was having internet sex with guys all over the world. When I think about Akilah naked in front of the computer, it makes me extremely disgusted. Akilah is severely sick and twisted.
well, that was Jamie talking about the very disturbing accusation that the mother of his 5 children, Akilah, had online sex. And now his niece, Dana, says she supports his position that Akilah is a bad and abusive mom.
I believe Akilah left the kids because she's selfish. What kind of a mother could walk away from their own children? As a mother, it's the worst thing you could ever do to your kids. I think it's a joke when Akilah refers to herself as the children's mother. She's not their mother. A mother is somebody that's nurturing and loving and caring and kind. She was abusive and mean and abandoned them. I feel horrible for my Uncle Jamie because he doesn't have very many options to get a job or where to live or what to do because he's a single parent. He loved Akilah, and she has ruined his life.
Okay, Dana, thank you for being here. Did these things happen the way he's describing them?
Yeah,
to
it
the
did.
best of your knowledge, if you know.
Yes, it did.
And you were there? No, you weren't.
Was I there physically? No. I couldn't stand to be around what you were doing to those kids. But you called my mother multiple times a day, Akilah. You can look at me. Of course you can't. Be a woman.
You have allegations against him. We're going to talk about those in a minute. Trust me, we're getting to them. I'm just wanting to know what the truth is. You do say you met a guy, a few days later, you load up and just leave with him. Why did you do that?
Yeah, I did not want to be with him anymore.
But you left your children. People get divorces every day, but they don't divorce their children, they divorce their spouses. You left your husband and your children. And I'm just asking, why did you leave your children?
Like I said, I feel like that was a good decision on my behalf.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even know where I'm going.
Then why go? If you don't know where you're going, you have a choice. Okay, I can go somewhere I'm not sure what's going to be there, or I can be a responsible mother and attend to my children.
What did your own
I think
father
I'll
tell
load
you?
up and go. Those were your choices. Either go off with somebody I barely know to somewhere I'm not sure of, or stay here and be a responsible mother for my children. You chose to load and go. I'm just asking you what your decision-making process was at the time.
It was just that. It was just spontaneous to just leave. I didn't have a job. I didn't have money. I didn't know. There's no way that I would have been able to deal with all 5 kids by myself.
You left with this person how long ago?
Like 2.5 years ago.
Are you still with them now?
Yes, I am.
And you've had another baby?
I have another baby.
With this person?
Yes,
now,
I do.
Right? So you now have a child with this person that you ran off with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dana, according to you, when the 6-year-old child missed the bus, she was forced to do a punishment. What was it?
She was forced to lay on the ground with her head and feet raised up while being called all kinds of names on the phone with my mother the entire time. She was on her back with her head up, her feet up, and her arms to her side. That is exactly how she described it to my mother. And
Okay,
she
so
said,
she's laying on her back with her hands and feet up.
Yes.
Okay, for how long did this go on?
Oh, several hours. She probably got
That
home
is a
from...
freaking
I'm sorry,
lie.
am I talking?
I don't really care. You're not going to sit up here and lie like that.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, you are. You
No,
were there.
I'm
No,
not.
you weren't.
No,
this
you
is-
weren't. I was there with my mom when
This
she
is
was
what
on
the
phone with
child
me.
said
Okay.
to your mother.
This is what she said to my mother on the phone
Right.
while it was happening.
I want to hear it then.
You said this
You want
to...
to hear it?
I wanna hear
Why
the
don't you
recording
call
of
my
it.
mom? Oh,
You said this to...
what?
Did you describe this on the phone?
No, I did not, because that never happened.
So they're making that up completely?
Yeah, they are.
Did you call her stupid for missing the bus?
I would call him stupid, but so would he. He's not going to sit up here and make me look bad like that when it was you, too.
No.
You know what? I'm not doing this.
No, I'm not a liar.
That's best.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we come back, Akilah's sister, Josephine, will be joining us, maybe. We're going to find out why she says this is all Jamie's fault that Akilah walked out on the family. So we're going to get the other side of the story, maybe. We'll be right back.
For years, Jamie has treated my sister very badly. Akilah picking up and leaving was justified because of the abuse. This could have been prevented if Jamie was not a bad father and was not abusive towards Akilah.
And later, did you kick your son's leg so hard you broke it?
Which one? Oldest, middle, or youngest? Which one?
Not having my children around is like when someone dies. You have to just move past it. You have to move on. At this point, I have moved on. I do have a new relationship, and I do have a new baby.
Akilah feels like everybody should move on and get over it. Akilah has 5 minor children that she has no contact with. You don't get over something like that. How do I feel about that? It's disgusting.
Well, Akilah admits to leaving her children out of the blue one day, but says she did it because she wasn't happy anymore and believed it was in the best interest of the children to leave them with their father, Jamie. But Jamie insists his girlfriend of 11 years is a bad mother who turned her back on her family to start a new life with another man. Now, Akilah's sister, Josephine, says she lived with her sister and her ex, Jamie, every summer for 4 years, where she witnessed Jamie treat Akilah like a piece of garbage. Take a look.
Jamie is no saint. He is a liar and scum. For years, Jamie has treated my sister very badly. Jamie would insult Akilah in front of those kids. He did it all the time. Akilah picking up and leaving was justified because of the abuse all the time. Part of the reason why the kids are the way they are today is because of what they have seen between the two of them.
Jamie's to blame for Kelly's behavior because Kelly, she was more of the daddy's girl.
What Kelly needs is to be away from Jamie. She needs her mother.
Because of Jamie's behavior, Kelly turned into a spoiled brat. If Jamie would have put his foot down, I don't believe she would have been completely out of control.
This could have been prevented if Jamie was not a bad father and was not abusive towards Akilah.
Okay, well, I'm here with Jamie and Dana. Akilah just walked off the stage because she didn't like something that Jamie was accusing her of. Her sister Josephine is here to support her, but she was supposed to be out here now, but she's not because she wants to talk to her sister backstage, which means they're running their agenda, but I'm running mine because last time I looked, that was my name on the wall. Not theirs, so if they want to talk to me, I strongly suggest they start moving this direction because this train is leaving the station. So they will or they won't. Were you introduced to her by her father?
I was best friends with her father.
How old are
leaving. I am 48.
And Akilah is 31.
Yes.
So he asked you eventually to
take her because he was leaving the girl that he was with and where he was moving to.
What do you mean take her?
Let her live with me until she turned 18 or whatever.
Hi, Josephine. And you did, but then after she turned 18, then you two became romantically involved.
Yes.
Started having children.
Yes.
Have you trashed Akilah to these children?
No, I have not.
You've not talked bad about her to these children?
That's a lie.
No, I have not.
That's a lie.
One of you two is lying. You only think you've been investigated until the two of us get involved, because the truth is going to come out. Did you kick your son's leg so hard you broke it?
Wow, really? Which one? I mean, oldest, middle, or youngest? Which one? The only one
Well,
that
how
has
many
had
legs
a
have you broken? Any? None? Zero?
None. Our one son, yes, he had a broken, whatever this is called back here.
According to Josephine, you kicked your son's leg so hard that you broke it. True? Is that what you told us?
It's true.
Cool.
Yeah, you kicked him and you told the hospital that he fell down the stairs.
Really?
Yeah.
You did not do that.
No, I did not.
Well, I'm asking so you can clear it up. This is your chance to clear it up, because that's an accusation.
I was sitting in Grandpa's recliner, and my boy constantly...
How do you know that he kicked the son and broke
Because I
his
was
leg?
there.
You saw him do it?
Yeah, and I asked him why he did that, and he said he didn't mean to kick him that hard.
Do you know when we took him to the hospital?
I just want to know if that
Because
happened.
we never noticed. Yes, he had back here.
I just want to know if
No,
you
I
kicked him
never
in the
kicked,
leg and
like-
said, I didn't know I kicked him that hard.
No, I never kicked him.
So she's lying.
Yes.
This exchange never happened.
It did happen.
Okay, listen, somebody needs to tell me the truth, because let me tell you something. I'm what's called a mandated reporter, and I have a child advocate friend down here, and Areva Martin right here. She's a Harvard-educated lawyer and a devout child advocate that I've asked to come in here, and you get between the two of us, and we start an investigation, and you only think you've been investigated until the two of us get involved, and so you're just... like I say, I'm just here on behalf of the children, and you know, people make mistakes, and accidents happen. For God's sakes, they do. I understand,
happen.
but you don't want to say one thing and then later say, "Well, yeah, I did tell her that." You don't want to be making an accusation if he didn't say that, and you don't want to be saying you didn't say it if you did, because the truth is going to come out. So let's just get it out right now. One of you two is lying, and I want to clear it up now so we know. If he didn't tell you that he kicked him and broke his leg, and you overinterpreted that, just say so and we'll move on. If you said it and it was an accident and you didn't mean to hurt the child, just say it and we'll move on. But one of you two is not telling the truth. And you just need to tell me who it is.
We were in the living room and he said that he didn't mean to kick him that hard. That's what he said.
No.
Okay, that didn't happen.
No, I never said I
Because
kicked
Akila
my
was
son.
sitting right there on the couch.
No, I did not say that.
Did you actually kick him?
No, I did not kick him.
Accidentally or otherwise?
Never.
I understand wrestling, roughhousing. I mean, it happened. I get
Never.
it. Didn't happen.
Did not happen.
So she's lying.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if it was just them playing roughly or if he just purposely did it. But he did kick him.
I didn't ask you if he kicked him. I asked you if he told you he kicked him.
No, he said he didn't mean to kick him. He didn't say he kicked him. He said he didn't mean to kick him. They were just, they were playing around. Is what they always play rough. So maybe that's just what it was. I didn't see him physically kick him.
I didn't ask you if you saw him.
He did say he didn't mean to kick him.
I didn't ask you if he kicked him. I didn't ask you if you saw him kick him. I asked you if he said to you, I kicked him so hard I broke his leg,
No,
and
he
I did
didn't
not
say
mean
that.
to kick him, because that's what you told
He
us.
said he didn't mean to kick him that hard. They were just playing around, and he said he didn't mean to kick him that hard because he was screaming.
Wow.
We're going to find out what Jamie and Akila's 12-year-old daughter has to say about her mother after not speaking to her for 2 years when we come back.
My mom would abuse me by slapping me across the face. She'd say things a lot to hurt my feelings. She used to call me a bitch, a whore, and she wouldn't want me around.
Having Akila walking out of our lives has taken a huge toll on our oldest daughter, Kelly. Kelly has become completely uncontrollable. She has been kicked out of 2 schools for attacking other students and staff members. The cops have been called on her twice. She has held a knife to her aunt's neck. I fear my 12-year-old daughter will physically hurt someone, if not kill someone.
Kelly's my cousin. She strangled her little brother till he was blue. Kelly told me that she did it because she was furious at her mom, wanted to kill her brother.
My daughter is so out of control, she can't live with us now. My daughter is damaged due to her mother.
Akila's to blame for her because she abused her up until the day that she abandoned her. If Dr. Phil doesn't step in and take care of this situation, there's no other hope. She's a lost cause.
Are you concerned about this?
Yes, I am. I am.
You afraid for her?
Yes. I don't want to visit my daughter in prison.
What do you see in this, Dana?
She's a great kid. She has a great heart. She wants to be normal. She wants to have a normal life and a normal family, which she was robbed of. I'm terrified for her. She wants to die. She writes it.
She has said that.
We're all at fault. We've all failed her. Every single one of us has failed her.
What do y'all think about this?
I know I did wrong. I'm not like a 100% good mother. But I tried with her. You guys know I did.
I'm sorry, by calling her a bitch and a slut and a whore, that was trying? Was it? By telling her you hated her and wished she wasn't born, that was trying?
Let's hear what she has to say.
My mom is abusive. My mom is mean. It's really weird because she is my mom, but I don't like calling her mom because she didn't treat me like one. She really isn't a mom to me. My mom would abuse me by slapping me across the face, force me to lay on the ground and put my hands and legs up in the air. You'd have to sit in a visible chair for hours. She'd say things a lot to hurt my feelings. She used to call me a bitch, a whore, and she wouldn't want me around. I would describe my mom like a loser, a big meanie, and a monster. I don't have any good memories. I just have bad memories. I always wished me and my mom could have good relationships just like me and my dad do. If I could tell my mom this right now, I would say, why did you leave me? Why did you leave my siblings? Why did you leave my dad?
What do you think about what she has to say?
The way she feels is just also by what he tells her. The stuff.
What do I tell her? Explain to me what I tell her so that I can understand what I'm doing.
You told them that I didn't love them. That's why I left. I didn't want them. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think he is abusive with these children in some way?
He yells at them just as much as she did. He hits them. Children's Services was called.
Is this true?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
You are lying.
If Children's Services
The
was
school called them.
Okay, now wait a minute. Not to my knowledge is an insult to my intelligence. Do you yell and scream at these children? That's part one.
Not using cuss words or anything like that? No. But only when they are fighting and trying to break them up. Normal.
So that would be a yes. You yell and scream at the children. Okay. Do you hit these children?
Yes. Face, no.
Yeah, right.
But, yes.
Right.
Anything other than my hand? Absolutely not.
Both of these parents claim they want custody of 12-year-old Kelly. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to let Areva Martin weigh in on this when we come back. Hey, Dr. Phil here. Did you know that more than 16 million kids in the U.S. are at risk of hunger each day? Join me and visit feedingamerica.org/hunger to find your local food bank to help. I'm Dr. Phil, and together, we are Feeding America.
I would love to have custody of my children. I just don't have the money to fight a custody battle.
If Akilah wanted custody of her kids, Akilah shouldn't have walked out on her kids.
My sister needs to do is fight harder and regain custody of those children.
I should have custody of the children because she is an unfit mother.
I need to tell you that I believe that parent is a very high calling. It's both a noun and a verb. It's something you are, but it's also something you do. It means that you're willing to make sacrifices for a child, that you're willing to give up things in favor of the child. And you have demonstrated a distinct inability or unwillingness to do that. You have demonstrated that you ran out of coping skills with 5 children, which many parents can run out of coping skills in the face of 5 children. And when that stress boiled over, I think you became mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive with those children. with no other coping skills being learned by you since you were there before, to add that 12-year-old to your charge at this time is distinctly non-optional to me. Attorney Areva Martin has been listening, and I know she has some insight for these parents. What are you thinking and feeling here?
Well, first thing, Dr. Phil, even though the tape piece, Akilah says she wants custody of her kids, she hasn't made one statement during this entire show that suggests she wants custody of her kids. She hasn't said one thing. She
Yes,
hasn't talked
because
about them in
all
a
they're
fond
doing is
fashion.
lying.
I'm sorry, Akilah, let me just finish. She hasn't said anything that suggests from her heart that she really wants her kids. We know from a legal... And that's where the court's going to start. Is this a mother that really wants to be a mom? As you said, a parent is both a noun and a verb, and I haven't heard her talk about wanting to be a parent. The courts are going to want to know, has anything changed? Does she have those coping skills you've talked about? Is there a stable home environment? Is there a job? You know, are there the economic resources to take care of the kids? Is there any counseling going on? Are these kids going to be in a stable environment? And most of all, is she prepared to put the best interest of her kids first?
How would you answer those questions?
I would tell them the truth. They're just going to sit up here and lie.
But they wouldn't be there. They're just talking
It
to
doesn't
you.
matter,
How would you
yeah.
answer
Because I
those
am a good
questions?
mom. I always was. Yeah, I had discipline to them. Yes, I did. But I always was there for them all the time. I did everything with them. And you can't say that I never did.
I also heard you call your daughter a bitch and a slut.
Yeah, I
And
admit
tell her
that I did tell
know,
her
but
that
how
before.
is that a good mom, Akilah?
I have made mistakes, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have. But I don't care. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm a bad mother, because I'm not.
Okay, would you agree that that's bad mothering?
Yeah, I could go to mothering, parenting classes, and so could he.
And I am willing to provide both of you help in this regard. But let me turn my attention back to this 12-year-old for a minute here before we wrap this up. For whatever reason, I believe this 12-year-old has grown up in a very toxic environment. I think this child is a danger to herself. I think she is a danger to others. I think she is way beyond the parenting skills that you have available to offer her at this point. As a result, I have asked Dr. Matthew Polachek to be here today. He is from the Center for Discovery. Doctor, I think this child needs some intensive evaluation and some placement. I think she needs a break from this. I think they need a break from her, and I think we need to get a fix on her and see if we can get this child in the right direction. And I think Center for Discovery is a godsend for this child if you will take her in and do good. Can we make that gift to this family?
We would love to, with your support, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, I think, and I would like to offer that to you, and I think she should go there, and I think you'll see a huge improvement with her, because these guys are good at what they're doing. Thank you to Victor Lopez, Youth Intervention Transport Services. Okay, coming up, my next guest, Bree, says she's tired of being called possessed for a condition she cannot control. We'll hear from her after the break. My next guest, Bree, says she has been called everything from learning disabled to possessed. But she is none of those things. Bree has been living with epilepsy most of her life and says it's frustrating how misinformed people are when it comes to her illness.
When I have a seizure, it starts with an aura, which is the sign of more to come. I lose my hearing, my ability to speak, my shoulder may start to twitch, and then I get really confused.
I was diagnosed at age 4 with a seizure disorder. There's a lot of fear and misinformation about epilepsy. Sometimes people think you are mentally disabled, delayed, or even possessed. People think I have a demon inside of me. I have absent seizures where I am staring off into space and it's like the lights are on and nobody's home. These seizures may seem momentary, but they do greatly affect my life.
Right now, I can't leave the house by myself. I can't drive a car. I have problems with being able to go out and do things with friends. I can't take a shower with nobody home.
When I have a seizure, people react differently. They think I'm going to die right in front of them. In past jobs, I felt shunned, lost hours, and at times been forced to quit my job. I want to demystify epilepsy. I feel like I can live a very full life as long as I'm aware of my environment and what's going on so that I don't hurt myself or I don't hurt somebody else.
Well, Bree is here with us, along with our good friend, Dr. Freda Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer. So welcome.
Thank you.
Now, when people think seizures, they usually think of the ones they see on TV or in the movies, right? I mean, extreme convulsing on the ground, foaming at the mouth, all that type thing. But it's not always that way. In fact, there are various types of seizures, all manifesting differently, right?
Yes, there are different types of seizures, but they have something in common, and that is all seizures are really the result of sudden, abnormal electrical activity in the brain. And epilepsy is actually a diagnosis that's given to a person that has a pattern of repetitive seizures, like Bree described. And what's important to understand is that there are a couple of types of seizures. So I wanted to mention two of those types that are based on their onset. So one we recognize generalized, and the other one is partial. So as you mentioned, Dr. Phil, the generalized seizure is the one that we often see in the movies or in television. It involves the entire brain, the whole brain, and it's characterized by loss of consciousness. The person may fall to the floor. They have those characteristic jerking movements of their arms and legs and body, and they may even lose their bladder control. There's another type of seizure that we talk about. Those are partial seizures. Their onset is related to a part of the brain, partial. And these, as Bree helped us understand, are very different from person to person and in the same person from seizure to seizure. And they can be characterized by differences in consciousness like staring or seeming unresponsive or confused, emotional changes. They can also involve movements. Bree told us about the movement in her shoulder that sometimes happens. Sometimes people get facial grimacing or make different faces. And then last but not least is sensory change. They may smell things that don't really exist or lose their hearing like Bree described to us.
You have had a seizure since you've been to LA. You had one yesterday. Doctor, what we're seeing here is some tracking of the head, right?
Yes.
And tell us what's your level of awareness at this point?
I'm totally unconscious.
So at this point, you're not seeing this, you don't remember this at all?
No, not at all.
So you didn't have even partial consciousness?
Nope.
People with epilepsy and their families, they do face challenges with this, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much misunderstanding and hurtful behavior that happen in communities and in people around both the person who has epilepsy as well as their family members. And it's really important to understand and help and support. Some of that can come from community organizations. Sometimes there's online resources that are available. But another important thing to remember is that we have an opportunity to learn more about seizures. With that, we might be able to decrease the misunderstanding and to change some of the stigma that currently exists.
Right. And Bree has been dealing with epilepsy since you were 4 years old, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like you have a good handle on your seizures?
I'm fortunate that I have an aura, which is a signal that I know that one is coming, so I can sit down or let somebody know that something is coming. I don't have them super often, at least not the ones that I lose consciousness. But then again, my seizures are changing right now, and I don't know if that's uncommon or not.
And your question is this something you should be concerned about?
Yes.
Should you get another evaluation?
A lot of things can actually change the level of control of seizures. Stress is one that can really have an impact. Other health disorders can have an impact on seizures. And then add to that things like changes in sleep pattern, travel, changes in levels of activity during the day. Hormonal levels can change, food, medications.
Do you get it checked frequently? Do you have a tracking?
I do keep in contact with my doctor. Unfortunately, I live about 4.5 hours away from my specialist, so it's hard to go more than about once a year. But fortunately, through email and things like that, I am able to keep in contact with him and let him know if things are changing.
Yeah, and that's important to stay in touch with the treatment team, right?
It's really critical, and again, especially in the event that some things seem to be changing, you stay on top of that, and then you can work with the healthcare team to try and do the detective work to figure out what's causing it, and then you can decide whether or not there are some specific tests that need to be done, whether or not the treatment plan should be changed at that time. So, you know, there's so much that's going on in the area of epilepsy now. We have more and more brain research that's being done so that we understand more about the brain and its function. And there are clinical studies that are going on to look at the potential for new treatments. So there's a lot to learn and know. And of course, for more information, you can go to gethealthystayhealthy.com, where we've got information on epilepsy, links to resources, and information on clinical trials.
Yeah, so gethealthystayhealthy.com. I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Freda Lewis Hall. For more information on today's show, you can visit drphil.com. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.